And we're live, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Welcome to the imho.love show. Special Friday edition. I just got back from a gorgeous vacation up in northern Idaho. And man, it's good to be home. I'm Lou Angelwolf, and this is Mike Murburg.
Yeah, and this show is being at least brought to you halfway by me in Facebook jail. So just imagine we have bars up, and I can't talk to you on Facebook, so I have to mind my manners.
If you're looking at Mike and his face is in a mosaic, it's because he's in Facebook jail.
Yeah.
But see, you were exercising your First Amendment free speech.
Like in a mall.
Right.
Once you realize that, you realize this is somebody's business, not somebody's right.
Well, that's the thing, and I think of it that way. I think I've gotten close to Facebook jail. I think I've been in Facebook police pursuit before.
Yeah, I got a record. I got people supervising me.
Yeah. Well, now they know I hang around with you.
Yeah,
so.
I know they can't miss it. So,
well, the show is imho.love. That's in my humble opinion .love. Like I said, Lou Angelwolf, Mike Murburg. We're here every week. Last week was a vacation week. Tremendous time out in northern Idaho. Incredible people. And Mike, the big thing I noticed out there.
What?
No mandated masks.
Right.
Nobody was wearing a mask.
Right. You can go into a gun store and say, hey, here's my driver's license from Idaho. I'd like to buy a rifle, please. Can you sell it to me? And it's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Take your mask off.
Exactly. That was my next thought.
Yeah, my brother and I, we were in Sandpoint, and we went to, there's a very cool military supply store there.
Oh, yeah.
As you know.
Oh, yeah. That's where I get my guns.
And they told you to take your mask off when you gave it.
Yeah, this is Sandpoint.
Well, and that's the thing, too, is, when it comes to firearms, you're not allowed to wear a face mask.
Right.
So, anyhow, but I had this whole thing was a little Fellini-esque at times, because here we are being constantly threatened by social distancing and this and that and the other thing. Yeah. Well, I was on an American Airlines flight out there, jam-packed, not an open seat in the whole plane, and all of us sitting there panting in our masks on full time, the whole time of the flight, the whole time at the airport. And I just, this is such shoddy science, huh?
It's muzzling. That's all
it is. Muzzling. It is
That's
absolutely. It. And I mean, every moment that I got that I could take my mask off, I did instantly. Yeah. I mean, it would just. There was something inside of me that did not feel good about it. I mean, I don't want to get anybody sick, and I'm fine, and I have an immune system. And this is a 99.6% recoverable illness. Just the odds aren't there for me to have a beam of fear about this. And I know that there's cases and people have died, but people die every day.
And there are people that get this out there that are positive that never even knew they were sick, because it just they got it and that was it. There was not even a sneeze.
Right.
So, and this is what we're afraid of.
Right. Well, I even the most skeptical person has to start seeing through this thin veneer that we're being presented here. This really can't. The science is so tilted. The numbers are so skewed. They're talking 180,000, and it's probably half that, if that. And then when you put that on the scale of 337 million Americans. I mean, it's had the best promotion of any sickness ever.
Well, that's a good thing.
It's a media blitz.
When you get out of Washington State, you fly into Spokane, you get out of Washington State, who has this, they've got nice things in Washington State.
Get a little closer.
Yeah, they get nice things in Washington State, but you get into Idaho, and it's like free thinkers only, please.
Yeah, it really is.
It really is.
There was every person I met out there in both states. I mean, I spent a limited time in.
Well, Eastern Washington State's a little. Spokane's really different culturally from Seattle. It may be Washington State, but it's It's the difference between Newport Richey and Dade City and Pasco County. It's really...
Yeah, it's about the same distance, too.
Yeah.
But but I met a lot of, like, wholesome style people. I didn't hear a horn the whole time I was in Sandpoint. Nobody blew their horn.
Probably never heard a nasty word.
Nobody was cursing.
And people spoke a language called English.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you sense any accents at all there?
It was as regionally neutral as I've ever found.
Right. They would actually the telephone company used to hire people from Eastern Washington and Idaho to be their spokespeople online because they spoke such perfect American English.
Yeah,
by and
nice.
large. Yeah. So.
Hey, no accents. You know what I'm talking about? Hey, he's talking right down the middle of the road there. Everybody likes that.
I've seen your license. It says Berg. You one of them or one of ours?
Yeah, Murburg can go both ways, right?
Yeah. I was asked. It was many, many years ago.
Well, I felt right at home with those big Nordic lugs up there.
Yep.
But the people were fantastic. The food was great. And the condo is 5,000 feet in the air and overlooks this gorgeous valley, this gorgeous lake, and I spent probably at least half my time on that balcony.
Well, the name of the mountain is Schweitzer Mountain.
Schweitzer.
And that's Switzerland. That's Swiss,
Yes.
Swiss mountains. And the original guy that got there saw it, and he says, it reminds me of home. And he was Swiss, and he settled it down, and he named it after him. And it is an American Switzerland there. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
And it's such a beautiful place. And yeah.
Everybody was mellow, man. And just going into town. I mean, it had a Walmart, for regular spices.
But that was in Ponderay. That's
Ponderay.
a little uphill. It's kind of funny. It used to be spelled PND hyphen O hyphen RIELE. It was French, Ponderay. It's just like
right.
Just south of Coeur d'Alene, which means the point of the heart. Yeah, but yeah, it got named that way.
So that's what Ponderay.
Yeah, Ponderay that means a Lake des Oriels, and
right.
As I recall. But what happened is the town started to grow, and instead of annexing it, they created another town called Ponderay, which is Ponderay, and that's where the Walmart is.
Yes, it is.
that and where the Medheads get cheap beer. I don't know.
Well, I got to say, I was extraordinarily grateful for the time away, and Mike, just 1,000 thank yous for the availability of that. It was good just to go out there and I just got to go stand out in the open, and my brother Keith came with me, and we put 1,400 miles on the rental car. So we were zooming. We went to Coeur d'Alene a few times, and then we went out to went along 200 all the way up into Polson, Montana, and then over to Kalispell and back around to
the
Libby.
mountains on that drive are just awesome. The
whole thing, and it's like driving through a Disney movie.
Yeah.
And speaking of Disney movies, on the flight home, we were on American, and I'm not bragging, but they had the seats with the little TVs in here,
Yeah.
And I scrolled through and I found movies, and a few years ago, Disney put out this thing called Bears, and it's a documentary about this small family of bears. There's a mama bear and 2 baby bears.
It's a family of bears.
Oh my gosh, it's a family of bears. Oh, baby. But I got to tell you, if you've never seen it, it's fantastic. And John C. Reilly narrates it. So, which I love him anyway. He's Dewey Cox. If you ever seen Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story, one of Lou Angelwolf's top 10 funny movies of all time. It's brilliant. Just I howled. My brother and I watched it while we were up there.
What movie is this?
It's called Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story.
Okay.
and John C. Reilly is the lead.
Okay.
It's a mockumentary on like Johnny Cash and Jerry Lee Lewis. It's like a blended mockumentary.
So I should watch it before I finish the song I've been put in Facebook jail.
Yes, it'll inspire you.
You know, you talk about like when you and I'll finish up with Northern Idaho on this. You get out of Spokane and you drive into Northern Idaho and you hit place and you all of a sudden you think you're in an alternate reality because
right.
You're driving in towards I think it was 90 or the north south
90.
route there, and then you look to your right and there's a big sign saying Dow Computers, DALL. So it's like, well, wait a minute, something's throwing me off here. Where am I? And then you get up to a town called Athol, Athol. And that was like one of the strongholds for the Aryan nation. So it's like, where the fuck?
Wait a minute. The town of Athol was this.
I'm just, there's Athols in the play.
And it is Athol.
You're an Athol.
And there's actually a local video that says if you want to know how to say this town, hold your tongue and call somebody an asshole.
Wow. The only way you can pronounce it is tie your tongue.
So, but next to that was Bayview and Spirit Lake and that whole area.
Yeah, that's Aryan Nation.
Oh,
Spirit Lake is out there.
It's so beautiful.
But they're nice people. They just want to be left alone. That's all.
I get it.
Live with this.
I get it. And we got to go to the rodeo.
Yeah.
Got to go to the demo derby.
But yeah, I bet you the demo was where it was at though.
Well,
that's up there with roller derby. That damn, I haven't seen one in so many years.
And just lovely people and light flannel shirts. And
I got a question. When the oil shortage was on, did they have demolition derbies using Hondas and Toyotas? Small engines?
They had a small demo derby class.
Oh, really?
Like Toyotas.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You just can't kill them,
And then the big ones, the guy that won the big demo derby was driving a 77 Lincoln Mark V. And those things were about 19 feet long.
Wow.
And it had a 460 in it. He had the headers coming out the hood.
Oh, wow.
It was crazy, man.
No wonder you won.
And this is how relaxed it is out there. Okay, first off, they're racing with an open gate from like here to the end of to the kitchen, into the kitchen. You're that close to the action.
About 50 feet.
About not even.
Not even.
And you got all these demo cars, and they're crashing into each other, and they're throwing dirt, and the dirt's going all over the people in the stands, and they're peeling out, and wait a minute.
Okay.
And they get this giant crash, and 2 cars burst into flames, and they didn't have fire extinguishers. They put it out with dirt. They're just throwing dirt all over everything. Okay. And then they finally, the guy in the Lincoln wins, and everybody, the crowd's settling down, and the vehicles are all shutting down one by, they're like just all these dead soldiers on a field, you know. And
radiator hoses broken.
And what do? They open the gate and let all the fans onto the track so they can meet the drivers.
Just as the gas tanks are starting.
I don't know who wrote that insurance policy, but they had to have sweat running down the crack of their ass.
This is also the country where Sarah Palin grew up.
Oh, really? Okay. Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
I saw a dozen Sarah Palins out there.
And she was too daft for Sandpoint, so she had to go to Alaska.
Oh, is that
There's no other place if she was ever going to fit. Sorry.
I thought she was adorable.
She is, but she's just like too weird for here.
Right, yeah. But anyway, so here's the crowd of people out there wandering around this steaming, jagged metal, and but it was a really, really good time. And I saw one of the cutest things I've ever seen in my life. It's called mutton busting. Okay, this is at the rodeo.
Yeah.
Okay, the little kids on their with the little cowboy hats on, their little chaps, riding sheep. They open up the gate and then the sheep runs out and they start to hang on to they're holding on to the fur on its neck. And most kids, came off in a couple of feet,
Yeah.
And
It's the guys that are held on you got to worry about later in life.
there was this one little dude. He was on it, man. I mean, he had a grip.
Yeah.
And he rode this sheep about 30 yards.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like a touchdown run. And finally, at the end, the sheep takes a right and throws him off, and his hat goes flying, and he goes and picks up his hat and he throws it, and he's getting like cheers. The crowd just loving this little 6-year-old kid. And but just really, really, really nice. It did seem like a bit of a time warp at times.
It is just such a wonderful place.
Yeah,
It absolutely.
So thank you and thank you and thank you and thank you.
North of there, as you keep on going north, it takes a few days, but there's a place north of Banff. Okay, and it's called the Pine Martin Inn, and it's on Bell Lake.
Banff is what, about 300 miles from there?
Yeah, and Banff is the next stop up is Jasper, which is a pretty cool town. You get up there.
Yeah.
I didn't have enough time to spend a lot of time there, but I really liked it. But needless to say, there's a guy who came to Canada in about 1900, and he literally traveled all of Canada, and he had to go back to England, as I recall, and I don't know if he fought in the war or not, but when he came back, after he'd seen the entirety of all Canada, he went to the spot and claimed it as homestead.
Really?
It's the most beautiful place in Canada.
Really?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
North of Banff.
North of Banff, south of Jasper, on Bow Lake.
Okay.
It's just the Pine Martin Inn. He built this place as a yurt, a big, gigantic yurt, and he settled that with his family, and blah, blah, blah. It is absolutely the most beautiful place in all Canada.
Wow, the Pine Martin Inn.
Yep.
I'll have to put that.
On Bow Lake. And out of Bow Lake flows Bow River into the Old Man River, and the trout fishing there is absolutely out of this world.
Wow. I don't have a bucket list, but I do have a large coffee cup list. So I'll put that in there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, anytime you want to go out there, and you told me you were out there with the motorcycles before?
No.
Okay.
I was out there, and what we did was we camped and fished all the way up the spine of the Canadian Rockies until we got to Jasper. Spent a couple days Jasper.
Oh.
You can actually camp and fish and eat your way up to Jasper.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, man. That's living.
That's good.
That's living.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, here it's August 28th, 2020. Just as you know, the riots are still going on. Things are being burnt. People are being shot. Names are being thrown.
Makes me glad I'm in Facebook jail.
Yeah, you're safer in there. It's murderous out here, I tell you.
Can I interrupt?
Sure.
Because I can put out a warning. Is this week, to whatever degree, my friend book decided to stop my IMing. And I couldn't re-download the program. So those who are trying to IM me on Friendbook, I can't. Let's see what you're doing or get your messages. And once again, my handlers say I have a 24-hour nap time.
You're quarantined.
Yeah. So until I can reply to anything on Facebook itself, or remarkably, I can't go on the marketplace. So what they've done is it's like the Chinese Communist Party in China. They shut down your social connections, and they shut down your ability to access a market, which they've done on Facebook here.
Yeah.
And I wonder if I actually had some of their currency, whether or not they'd let me spend it or not.
Wow.
So this is big, and this is important for people to know what's going on.
As we deal with this day by day, we become a little desensitized to it, and everybody I know is fatigued about it, man. They're so tired of hearing the negativity. They're so tired of the pain. That's why we try to have a couple laughs out here with you, because we're in probably the most important time in the last century right now. What we do right now is going to have the bearing on many, many years to come. The American thing is it's taken a couple of shots in the bow, and it's leaking a little bit. So, but all is not lost. I was actually regenerated from my visit up there. thinking that, yeah, we can do it. We can pull. And literally, you wouldn't even think that other than when you got seated at a restaurant that people wore a mask. You wouldn't even know what was going on. It was pretty much normal days. And that's because nobody was sick up there. Their numbers were way down. Nobody got sick. And obviously, it's because they kept straight numbers.
They kept things open. And they developed their own herd immunity.
Yep.
So,
yeah. There was some herds out there, too.
Yeah. You ever see, did you see any of the goat herds?
I saw goat herds.
How long were the goat herds? Because they can run for miles.
Yeah.
They just keep on going. And you can stand, if you stand in their path, they'll just run over you.
Yeah.
But if you stand to the side, they'll, slap you high five as they're going through,
Yeah, we saw buffalo. We saw all kinds of cattle. Just beautiful places out there. And, it was great to have time with my bro. And he really needed a break because he's one of these guys that gets up and turns on the news first thing in the morning. And I got to tell you, folks, that's no way to start your day. If you're doing that, you're really punishing yourself because the broadcasters have it all turned up all the way for you right now. They're hitting you at every particular moment. Everything is dramatic. We no longer have weather. We have weather events. They were forecasting the end of the world for Laura, an unsurvivable storm surge, they said. And I know they had a storm surge, but a lot of people survived.
And now we got an asteroid coming in about election time. So, those of you who thought the murder wasps were the end of it, it's, throwing the asteroid in.
Yeah, sure, why not? Dude, this is like a rock concert.
You know what you can do with an asteroid, though? Is that you can actually propagandize it and say, there's an asteroid coming. Everybody's going to believe it without ever seeing the asteroid on the news anywhere, and then all of a sudden you can say, wow, that was a near miss, and they wouldn't know any difference.
Well, it literally, it's what gets broadcast with intensity.
Yeah.
And that's what you learn. That's what you know. That's what and the amazing thing about this is I'm an old salesman. I'm an old entertainer. I've dealt with people my whole life, and I always look, I make deals with people, and I like making deals with straight people, tight people, people that are, doing solid business. But every once in a while, in the big loop, you have to deal with a shadier person and someone of questionable merit. And I have a gut feeling that kicks in. I mean, I'll still, if the deal's there, the deal's there, and if it's legit, even though the guy's a little shaky, I'll still do it. Doesn't matter to me. But what I notice is I feel the same way when I watch the television set. And the other thing that amazed me is how well prepared the world was for the mask business. There's mask stores in the mall now. There's all these mask websites.
And none of them do any good when you're trying to... But they're passing. They look, okay, it looks like a mask to me, and come on in.
Sure. I saw a crocheted one the other day.
I know, exactly.
So, I mean, really, it is... Now, talk about the programming that worked.
Next, it's like, the... What do the people of the Muslim faith wear again?
Burqa.
Burqas, yes. It's like accepting the burqa, but
it is. It's a pretend burqa.
So the question is, if a girl wears a mask and she's in a bikini,
I've not seen many burqa bikini shots.
I know. I'm waiting for that. I don't think we'll ever see it either, but one can always hope.
Yeah, and.
The way it's going, it's not looking good.
And I'm not rallying under any flag, but I can tell you the manipulations that are going on right now are massive. They're vying for every little sub thought that you have. It's literally like a spray. They're just trying to make something stick that'll make you fearful or make you bold. Doesn't matter, goes both ways. But what I'm noticing is now that I come back to Florida, the solid sauna. For those of you who don't know, the show comes from the west coast of Florida out here, Area 52. And
Gets a little soggy.
Dude, it was 102 today. Real temperature.
I know.
The feels like, I think, was 110 or 112.
Yeah.
And it's wet, man. You just walk out into the heat, and it'll move you back.
Yeah, it does.
It'll move you back. And I'm a big guy, and I can move forward, but it'll move you back.
Yeah.
So, and the people with the masks and the panting and the fainting and it all looks too funny and strange to me. And I have, and that's just the gut feeling that comes with me. Maybe it's too much of a change for me to accept.
Yeah, well, you had perspective. You had gone to another culture and civilization, then came back to this one, so it gave you a completely different perspective.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It's good for you.
yeah, it is good for you, and it's good to know, folks, that you're not, if you're all masked up and hanging out, do what you need to do. I'm not going to tell anybody what to do. But I was just saying, I just saw thousands and thousands of people getting along just fine.
We're free and happy.
Free and happy. I like that.
How about that?
Well, also, too, some good news. John MacArthur, who's a pastor out in San Diego, he has the Grace Church out there. And they finally petitioned the city enough to let them open and have indoor services. Okay.
Because they want to pray for the Falwell kid.
Well, whatever's up with that
sorry,
guy.
you know.
The guy's got a penis. He's got a penis. I'll tell you. Penises get you in trouble.
Yeah.
Penises have gotten me in trouble. My penis, Little Elvis. Little Elvis has really, he has had a lot of bad ideas. But that's the same with the Falwell kid.
But wherever he goes, he still says, "Thank you very much."
Thank you. I mean, you're beautiful people. I mean it. So, that the Grace Church is actually opening back up, and because people, I'm telling you, man, people need their congregations. People need that power of uniting. The social distancing thing is a totally unproven scientific suggestion.
The First Amendment not only guarantees freedom of speech, but it also guarantees freedom of association.
Yes.
So your right to go to church and congregate with the people of your choice is a divine and natural human right that's protected by the First Amendment of our Bill of Rights.
Yes.
That's how important it is.
Yeah.
And when you shut down a church, when you shut down Facebook, when you shut down people, it really is an infringement on a human right. It might not be a constitutional right, but it is a human right.
Well, yeah, I agree.
So Facebook is a...
Well,
yes.
I got a little bit of a tug with that.
Yeah.
Because Facebook is a privately owned company.
Yes.
Okay, and they can pretty much do things the way they want.
Yeah, and they can infringe on your constitutional rights, but there are more than just constitutional rights. They're natural human rights, and that's the problem. Is we have confused and ceded all of our power to corporations to determine what our rights are.
Right.
Okay.
I agree.
See.
Yeah, and there are other open formats. I know BitChute does not edit or eliminate anything, and your big guys do.
And nor do they shoot bitches.
They don't shoot any bitches.
Really,
no.
Yeah, they love dogs.
They love dogs.
Love dogs.
So one day we may change format. I don't know, but the reason that the Facebook is so handy is there's so many of us. There's just like my entire high school class is on Facebook. I'm in touch with probably half of those that are available. And it's really nice to link up with old friends and that kind of thing. But this whole, it really has gotten quite large. And everything you say and everything you do is you're being taped, from everywhere you go. You carry your phone with you. It knows exactly where you are at all times. All of your conversations are recorded to some degree. I know that when they came out when all that cloud technology came out, that was for the endless storage spaces that are available in the cloud type of data system. So literally, this show will forever be recorded. My opinions will forever be echoing through the atmosphere. And Mike and I do the show for the same reason. We're trying to be a reasonable voice in a very, very confusing world. We both had enough hard knocks and enough interest in the human experience to want to share it with you. We have found some peaceful paths, and both of us are pretty easygoing dudes. Mike is very well versed in the Tao, and I don't see the guy get off center. I see him like bubble up a little bit, but then he just stops and remembers who he is, and he goes back. And it's impressive. I know because you have to trim your parameters, because for us to go like this and stay steady. That means at one time we went like this.
Oh yeah,
and we're unsteady.
Yeah,
that's where you learn the lesson.
Got a concept for you though. Is look, we're filming all this, and eventually it ends up on BitChute and everything else. But just think about E.T.
Yes.
They've been filming us from the beginning of history, and it's like there's a potential of the infinite number of reruns of Earth season 1.
Should we be so vain?
It's information out there, and it's infinite.
Yeah.
It's when you get that, it just really is incredible.
Yeah. Well, I mostly did it for my son Isaac. I was 40 when he was born, so he's just now 21. I don't know how long I'm going to be here. I hope a long time. But I'm leaving some words behind for him. To just kind of, and that's, Mike and I have a very similar live and let live kind of perspective on life. Do no harm.
Yeah, we're followers of the great Steve Baird.
Yes, Steve Baird. Yes, our lost savior.
Yeah.
But both enjoy laughing, and it's never our intent to hurt or harm. Yeah, we have opinions because we get irritated, but what we noticed, what our biggest irritant is a lack of passion or a lack of love or a lack of understanding, and that's what gets us moving. And we both kind of don't like being told what to do. So, and I think a lot of guys our age, that's where they're at. They may have spent some time being told what to do when they were young, if they were in the military or if they went through some sort of corporate structuring. But as you get older, you don't like being told what to do. So my opinion and my attitude is going to be a little different than someone, say, 40 years younger than me. I reflect that back on Isaac. So, but I want him to know that he'll probably feel this way someday. And, I hope he has it more figured out than I do. I mean, but the thing that, one of the backbones of this show, it's aha, haha, and of course CE5, Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind. And we really do, out here at Area 52, we go into a meditative, clear state, and we extend our spirits and our hearts outward to communicate with our extraterrestrial families through meditations and understandings. And we offer up the most precious part of us, which is our innocence and our ever-existing level of love that we have, and it just grows and grows and grows. And now when you find an avenue to explode this out of you and offer it up to the universe in its fullness, and then sometimes our extraterrestrial friends, they come by and visit. They buzz the sky. They stop. They give us a flashbulb. Sometimes they send orbs. It's an amazing communication.
Yeah, here's a question. When was the last time that we did a CE5 and none showed up?
It's been a long time.
Yep.
It's been a long time. Lots and lots of months.
Hey, I'd like to give a shout out to Dean Caparella. I did an interview with him this past week. Amazing guy. I did an interview when he first started his website.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Yeah, Dean had that fantastic online.
Online summit.
The online summit was what 20 hours long?
Yeah, and he's got 1,750 hours now.
Oh my
of
goodness.
Interviews with people from everybody who's ever done anything in this area of stuff, and his body of work is absolutely incredible. He's a retired journalist from Australia. He's married to his wife is a former CIA.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean
that's a hot setup.
He's the real deal, man, and it's just wonderful. I got to talk about Carl Jung, the collectivism versus the individual as a paradigm. No collectivism and using the Tao as the means of elevating human reality and consciousness. And we had discussed synchronicity. We addressed Jung's art, and his own experiences and experiencer. I posted some of his art during the show. And Dean had acquainted himself with synchronicity, which is a tough one. He started on it, and we had some great discussions about synchronicity. But the funny thing is I brought in Jung's book, Flying Saucers,
right,
and then halfway through Jung, he tells you in order to understand this, you have to read synchronicity. So. Read synchronicity, and then there was a part on leadership from the Tao Te Ching, and what the synchronicity that happened was each one was on page 77 of the reference material I was working with.
Wow!
Yeah, so it's a great interview, and I got going on this, and I'll be writing. I hope everybody would like to read it. Finishing up my book on meditations on the Tao, political leadership in the post-disclosure paradigm. That's coming to an end. And I've made some contacts with some very wonderful people in the most recent past, which is probably one of the reasons they're taking me off Facebook. So, it's tough to have.
You're linked to another group of knowers. And they really don't want you guys talking.
Yeah, at least on Facebook, you can't go here. So
I tell you, I would even go full gangster on this. Like, gangsters never talked on the telephone. If they used the phone, it was the pay phone down the street, and they sent somebody out. They talked in code because you don't want everybody knowing what you're doing.
And you always got the new guy in the group to start your car for you.
Tony, go out there and spark that up.
It was the gangster equivalent to the taste tester for the Pope.
So that's funny. So, but I don't like to if I'm talking the madness with somebody, I like to take my phone or their phone and we put it in the microwave oven. We don't turn it on, of course. It's the closest thing you're going to have to a Faraday box.
Yeah, you would not only ruin the oven, but you fry your phone too.
It's not good for your phone either. Because they can hear everything, whether your phone's on or off, it doesn't matter. It has the technology to listen to you all the time. And it's funny. There's certain words that you say that get tripped. And I have people in my company that say words, and I'm almost like, don't use that word,
like when you're talking about transmissions, make sure you use the word transmission.
Yes.
Don't ever truncate the word into something that you wouldn't want to go to Facebook jail for.
Well, but so here we are. We're experiencing the biggest change that the Earth has ever had come their way. I mean, this is we're all supposed to be here right now. There's no mistakes. There's no happenstance. This is all divinely orchestrated, and there's going to be people in certain positions in certain places with certain levels of understanding and manipulation that are going to change things. And some things are going to get changed, some things are going to be restored. But don't let your world get small, okay? And that's what they're trying to do. That's what they want you in the house. They want you under a mask. They want you in fear. And it ain't worth it. It's really not there. And as I've noticed, Mike and I have said this before, when you're fearing something, chances are about 90% of the time, the thing that you were fearing never even happens. It never even comes up. It's this supposition, this worst case scenario thing that our brains secrete it's the fight or flight thing. You're preparing for a battle of some sort.
Fear occurs in the absence of love.
Fear occurs in the absence of love. Okay. Yeah, you'd have to be really afraid. You'd have to be void of love in that thought, wouldn't you? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. I like that.
It's true.
That's good. So if you got all love back up, your fear would go away, right?
Exactly.
That's what we call the show. In my humble opinion, not love. So love, of course, being the most important element and the only thing that will endure forever. There may be all kinds of changes to everything, but that power of love. And then within that power of love is the most divine, which is the innocence. And that's the thing that jags most of our wires, is when we see innocence being taken advantage of or punished. Like there was some videos about with the riots, guys punching old men, punching old ladies, kicking them,
burning down black churches.
Yeah.
Well, and this is when Black Lives Matter. I mean, there's in love, there's also the attributes of compassion and charity.
Yeah.
And we have a world that's showing less and less and less of it, and more and more of control and lack of compassion and lack of charity and just evil and meanness.
Yeah, well, when I was out,
so sad.
When I was out west, I met a guy out there who was from Portland, and the way he said it was, he says, they came and burned my town down.
Yeah.
And I said, well, those weren't Portlanders that were doing that work. I said, that was a hired hit squad that did that. I said, that's a organized movement. That's not a grassroots, we're pissed. That's a very, very well orchestrated group of people that are coming to just add to the cacophony of bad vibrations going on. So, and we talked, and the guy was like, he goes, I got to head for different grounds, man. He goes, I started to become uncomfortable about 5 years ago with it. He goes, but now with all this, he goes, I got to go. He goes, I got to take care of my wife. I got to,
Yeah, disappearing inland away from the craziness.
Yeah, you got to, yeah. And there's a lot of people feeling that right now. They don't know what to do. I know everybody in my family's got some kind of adventure on their mind. They think that a change is going to do them better. I don't know. Tell you one thing about out there, I felt safe out there. I did, and more safe. And I've lived in North Pinellas County for on and off for 50 years.
Hey, did they have open carry in Idaho?
Open carry, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's great. They ask you to take your guns off when you come through the door. You got to check them with the guy at the head check.
I tell you what, man, that old saying, an armed society is a polite society.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're standing at the Walmart. Guy's got a 9mm in his hip and something else in his boot. And,
that ain't no shit gonna go down there.
No. Nobody in Idaho bursts into a movie theater and starts shooting.
Exactly.
So in a Batman costume or wherever the hell. Yeah. So, folks, I talk to people all week long, and they bring up fragments of what's going on. Is it this? Is it that? Is it this? Is it those? Is it them? Is it we? Is it he? Is it they? Yes, it's all of it. All this stuff is happening right now. The craziest vibrations are going on right now. And if you're empathic, man, you're really feeling it. You're really getting thrashed. I know I am. And there are just days where I'm very, very sluggish. But I reflect back on simple things, beautiful things, the Tao, the love of the Creator that has been imbued upon me, and just beautiful innocence and simple things. Try to restore your mind to that, because my buddy Scott, he's a good monitor for me. He's going, dude, you're paying too much attention to that stuff. He says, I just hear it in the periphery, and you're wearing me out. So,
hey, I got a great idea for next year. Next summer,
Yeah.
we could do a CE5 in Idaho. That place of mine sleeps. We could probably get a couple cots and sleep 15 people there.
yeah, you could.
Yeah, so we get CC, CH, HP, GM, you, me, a bunch of other people.
Yeah. Oh, wow. They're closer there.
Yeah, and the parking lot out front is a perfect spot.
Yeah, there were some congregants out there.
Where they? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, they
Little fires and stuff.
in the parking lot out
Yeah.
in front of the condo.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. They're not from the condo, then. So
No, they're locals.
get out of here. I live here. Unless you want to meet ET, and then you're okay. And then just make a central fire here, and we can all sit around it.
ET party of two. ET.
Party too. That's right.
Yeah.
Parking for craft over there, and for us. Right.
But one of the things, like I said a little while ago, don't let your world get small, and that's part of the reason we do this show, because we like to show people that there's a path. If you're if you're one of those people that looks up and goes, "There's got to be more than us. There's got to be more than is presented to us." Maybe our part of the movie isn't playing yet, and we felt that way a long time ago. And then, as we've ventured towards that oneness of all things, and this is all just part of the oneness knowledge that I am you and you are me, and that's why Mike and I are such good friends. I treat him as I want to be treated, and he treats me as I would like to be treated. We don't take each other for granted. We don't use harsh words with each other. We're understanding. We're patient, and we've pooled that, and we're sending it out to you as best we can. Through some, we got opinions, man. We're grown men. We've seen a lot of shit. I'm going to tell you about it, But the overall thing is we want to present it in a little blanket of love. And, the thing that started this was the pacifist riot. A little piece I wrote 5 years ago. It's available on imho.love. But what really lifts this whole thing off, it's just not just a couple good-hearted dudes that like to laugh and talk about stuff. This place, this Area 52, and the group of people that we have in our immediate circle, our close group, really, really, we're looking past this world and into the oneness of the whole thing. It's more of a fullness, because this energy that you experience every day is orchestrated, and the frequency that you can tune yourself to will bring you different levels of enjoyment. If you're down there with the constant network television rabble about everything that's horrible and everything that's wrong, and you're all gonna die, and you're all, look at all these bad people, look at all these people are good, these people are bad, these people are good, these people are bad. If you're down there in those low, harsh vibrations, you're wearing yourself out. I told my brother, I go, bro, don't start your day with the news. Start your day in quiet. A cup of coffee, a prayer, something easy, some music, something. You lift off. And then as you enter into a day, then if you need to take on some, you do need to know the news. You do need to know if a storm's coming. You do need to know that kind of thing. So you do have to encounter that kind of media. It's a luxury for you. But by then you've built up a little tolerance. You already had some good moments. But if you start out the first 5 minutes you're awake and you're listening to these idiots scream on YouTube or whatever it is, doesn't matter what idiot it is, they're all idiots. And it doesn't start your day right. So that being said, so now you've worked and your days are getting better, even though this is a pretty confusing time. You're not letting it get the best of you. Now when it really does come to yourself that you realize just how big this whole thing is that we're involved in. All of humanity is one thing. And, for you to hate me is for you to hate yourself. For me to be angry or harsh with someone is for me to be angry or harsh with myself. Because it is a collective energy that we all share. And now we've got some participants involved that really have a very erratic vibration. But the thing about erratic vibrations is they do have a terminal point. They do end, and they do settle back down. And part of settling back down or trying to remain peaceful is realizing that, yeah, you're part of a great, big, wonderful, beautiful thing. I mean, I was just exposed to 10 solid days of just the grandeur of nature. It was just beautiful skies, beautiful trees and mountains and rivers and brooks and lakes and people laughing. It was a really wonderful vacation. And now you realize that, I'm all part of that too. Even though I was way over there, now I'm back here. I'm still part of that over there. I left some energy out there. And when you start to realize the oneness of all these things, then you go, you know what? This is okay, but I think there's even more of it out there. And that's where the meditations come in. That's where the prayers come in. That's where the CE5s come in. The HICE, the human initiated contact experiences. There is energy out there, and it wants to communicate with you. You have the ability to do it. You just have to shed your fear of what it might be, because your fear is false evidence appearing real. Because it's not what you think it is. It's not what the TV told you it is. It is a continuation of the love and the energy vibration that holds this world together. So as we seek with a heart of innocence and a heart of purity to combine our energy with our extraterrestrial friends, it happens. It happens. It's a total possibility. It totally happens. So conditioning your mind and your heart and your spirit towards those kind of goals, as opposed to just stomping somebody's face on Facebook because they had an error in the thing that they posted. It's the polar end. It's this horrible pettiness that the world has, and then to actually live in awe of the grandeur of all of this, and that you're part of it, and that you're supposed to be here. Play a really good role. You can cast yourself in this great big movie. Just pick yourself a good part.
Or a good place.
Or a good place.
One of the most beautiful visions I've ever had in America was July 4th, Sandpoint, at the edge of the lake, Lake Ponderay. And across the lake are the mountains, get up to 10, 11, maybe 8, 9, 10,000 feet. And they're snow-capped, and that's July 4th in America, and it's no better place. And a couple of things, I've been asked, I have anxiety disorder, how do I deal with it? And I have a tough time meditating. My answer is, meditate 3 times a day for 3 minutes. Once in the morning, once at lunchtime, and once either before or after you sleep. That's less than 10 minutes a day, and that's a way to really calm and train your mind.
Yes.
It doesn't take much. You can do it at a long stoplight if you have to. But if you do that, and recommend that to your brother.
Baby steps, Bob.
Teach them how to do it. And that's all you really need. Even the guys who are advanced in this, that's all they need eventually. And that's all you need.
And that's how you can totally get 3 minutes a day. It's just a simple. I mean, it's not. And
we've called NET in with meditations of 3 minutes or less.
That's true.
So that's your sweet spot. So go hit it 3 times a day. And what you're also talking about is what Lao Tzu called the law of energy return. What you attract the energy that you give out. You might not know what energy you're giving out, but it sure is some indication of what's happening with what you attract. So, that's another thing you were talking about. I'd like to mention, and and that was the important thing. Meditation 3 times.
What's that phrase again? Energy return. What?
Yeah, it's the second law of energy return. It's called
energy return.
Energy return. You attract the energy that you give out. What Lao Tzu did was he managed to reduce all of human existence to vibration.
Okay.
And what he called rays, but it all depends on how you translate the word, the character that's used.
Sure,
in
rays.
Chinese. But either way, he got it. It was, we know vibrations, electronic fields, electromagnetic fields. Let's face it, this guy's talking 2,500 years ago. So, the language of electromagnetic fields and quantum physics just really hadn't come up yet. So
they existed, but nobody knew about it.
But no, and what he ended up doing was translating it in such a form that everybody could understand it. And it's just, a wonderful group, a bunch of work to study. So
wow.
That's what I have to say for tonight. So.
That's beautiful, man. That's beautiful. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining Mike and I tonight. Thank you, everybody. Kat Carroll, thanks so much for your contribution and your words of encouragement. And, of course, there's lots and lots of other people that send me stuff, and I forgot to write them all down. But, hey, if you get a chance, go congregate with some friends, maybe go to church, whatever you want to worship, man. If one of the happiest people I ever knew, she worshipped rose bushes. She had a rose bush, but she was the most centered, easygoing person that I ever met. She had rose bushes in her backyard. She had them inside of her house. And she was cool, man. She was a true hippie spirit. I mean, there was, I wonder where she went. Anyway, she just wandered off. Ladies and gentlemen.
Like most all disappear.
Yes.
Fade away just like the military.
Yeah, she was a cool girl. She worked at the health food store up in Palm Harbor. I think her name, Vicky was her name. And she used to say Vicky is what everybody calls me, but Victorious is my real name.
Victorious. Ooh, yeah. Wow. And, give her the sword and a pair of Nikes.
Yeah, she's probably in Sandpoint. Anyway, well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in and dialing in.
That was perfect timing,
getting in touch with us.
You're such an underrated comedian.
And also special thanks to all my Facebook friends and all our family out there. Brittany Lee was in bad shape this week. She slipped into a coma. She was on life support systems. But through your prayers and the wonderful medical facility over there at Dr. Phillips in Orlando, she's out of the coma. She's awake. She's having coherent conversations. There's no brain damage according to the initial tests. So thank everybody that prayed for Brittany. Her dad, Patrick, is one of my best friends on earth, and he had me shook up, man. I'm crying, he's crying, and we really were pounding on heaven's door, and our prayers were heard. So thank you so much. Please like, share, whatever you want to do with the show. It's available on BitChute, YouTube, imho.love, of course the Facebook format here, and just do whatever you like with it. And we're actually honored that you stop and listen, because I know how busy this world is, and I appreciate you spending your time with us. So like we say every week, use your head, trust your gut, and your heart will take you home. I'm Lou Angelwolf, Mike Murburg. Have a great week. Yeah, man. It was a good show. Yay for us.
Yay for us. We cut one for the Gipper.
Ended on a fart joke, eh?